today there was the announcement that the White House is going to be holding its third stablecoin meeting set for tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. Oh, that was today. Yes, today. With a small crypto and banking delegation expected to attend. Okay, so that came out last night, I think. Today, we will be seeing hopefully some news about the White House giving us a little bit more guidance or figuring out what they want to do with stablecoins and for the Clarity Act.
Did you see the poly market for that?
No, what's the poly market going on?
For the Clarity Act passing in 2026, jumped up to 7. Oh, now it's at 82%.
Oh, 82% chance, y'all.
We're not a fan of poly market, but the numbers you got to look at.
That was still a news headline. So Senator Warren tells the Fed and Treasury that she does not want there to be a bailout for crypto billionaires. Basically, she urged the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve to not use taxpayer dollars to bail out cryptocurrency billionaires and other highly leveraged cryptocurrency investors. She wrote to Secretary Scott Bessent and Fed Chair Jerome Powell as Bitcoin has continued to slide since hitting a high that it had in October. So, so there was like a World Liberty Financial Forum that was hosted on the same day at the President's Mar-a-Lago Club. And I'm just a little bit confused by what she's asking for exactly.
That was my confusion too. What does she even say? What does she mean?
Yeah, so I don't know if the letter is public or not. I'm not sure. Maybe it is. So I haven't fully seen exactly what she said, but I think what she's basically saying is like, so yeah, she said ultimately any government intervention to stabilize Bitcoin would disproportionately benefit crypto billionaires. So I guess she's talking about like the U.S. buying crypto for its the strategic reserve.
Okay.
I'm guessing that's what she's talking about.
And so she thinks the cascading effect of that and the assets appreciating is bailing them out?
I guess so.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I initially, when I saw the headline, I just laughed because I was just like, what exactly is she talking about?
Mm-hmm.
But I think with the extra nuance of there being this idea of a strategic reserve, which I don't necessarily know that it's being mentioned, right? Like it's definitely not in this article.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think she's just like, don't bail out the crypto billionaires, which is probably a little bit misleading of a way of thinking about how things work.
Got it.
So the CME actually just announced that they're going to be enabling 24/7 cryptocurrency trading in the futures market starting May 29th. Now, the CME is the large futures venue in the United States, or they own the venues. And so futures already technically trade 24/5. And really 23/5. There's a 1 hour gap that happens throughout the day, Monday through Friday, or technically Sunday night through Friday. And with these futures contracts, these are derivatives markets, right? So you've got the spot market for Bitcoin, which trades 24/7 on crypto exchanges. But then you have the futures market, which is where a lot of institutions are more likely to participate because they don't have to own the underlying thing to play around in the pricing mechanism of this whole thing, is where those people are taking place on the futures market. So this idea of having a 24/7 futures market for cryptocurrency is a very, very, very interesting thought. We've definitely talked about this on my channel about 24/7 trading of crypto means that when you're sleeping, you can have some crazy things that might happen in the markets, and then you wake up to especially in the futures market, positions being liquidated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, crazy manipulative moves that can happen. But that's 24/7 for crypto period. But now you're talking about for the institutions to be able to do this over the weekends as well. So anyways,
It definitely seems like that's where things are moving.
Yep. A little bit of stuff on Poly Market because it's just the talk of the town at the moment. Right after we got off yesterday, Kyla Scanlon had actually responded to the CFTC chairman's thing where he came out and he said, we talked about in the last episode, he talked about how the CFTC has full jurisdiction over prediction markets. This is like helpful for pricing and information discovery and so on. And then Kyla Scanlon Huge, awesome person. She should definitely come on the pod. Come through, Kyla. We'd love to have you. And she talked about she just posted a chart. Rather, that's all she did. And it talks about the world of wagers. And basically, because in the video he talks about how this helps with elections and like understanding what's going on with that. And then you can see here that actually know all of the notional volume almost on Kalshi is actually mostly for sports.
Wow. That's insane, man.
Yeah.
And also just, I don't even think it's good for sports either, because the more that gambling gets involved, the higher likelihood of this stuff becoming even more fake becomes a thing.
100% WWE,
WWE, it's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because on last episode we talked about Logan Paul a bit, and I forgot that he was a big recurring character in WWE. So he definitely has fans from that. Like WWE people are like very loyal, big fans.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there for sure. So you corrected yourself on that one, or at least added some extra context.
Well, yeah, he's got probably new people that he could run a similar playbook.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, interesting stuff there, man. So, moving deeper into this, there's also a new development happening with these prediction markets. You've got Bitwise Invest filing for prediction market backed ETFs.
What does that even mean?
I have no idea. And so Eric says he's the senior ETF analyst at Bloomberg. And it's so interesting how this is so deeply tied into the crypto thing, right? Because Bitwise is a crypto ETF issuer. And so, okay, wow. So this is the prospectus you can see here has prediction shares for individual bets. How interesting is that? So you would have an ETF that has specific bets in it, and you would be buying, I guess, the yes or the no of the specific bets by buying the ETF. Fascinating. So Eric said, and they're off. Round Hill's filing on Friday sets off a prediction markets ETF race. So they're not the first ones to do this. Granite Shares and Bitwise has also jumped in to create these prediction shares ETFs. Fascinating.
It's crazy.
So prediction markets are coming to Wall Street. And that's even just through the ability to invest in them. But there's also all other stuff regarding, obviously, the liquidity of those platforms as well. But moving on, Amazon has officially surpassed Walmart as the world's largest company by revenue, reporting $716 billion in 2025 sales. What do you think of that, Ben?
That's not surprising at all, because I do think that the whole you go to Walmart to save money thing, I feel like Amazon, through efficiencies of distribution, has gotten to a point where there's usually products on there that aren't available in Walmart and are cheaper and are almost the same as what would be in Walmart. So I think obviously it's the place where you'd still go if you're getting a lot at one time, but that individual purchase that people typically would have gone to Walmart for, I think they've gotten the vast majority of people to become accustomed just going to Amazon. But I didn't have that much. I tried to go look for a physical product in Walmart, and then even they were like, "Well, we don't have it. Try Amazon." Or like how many times does that happen? And the habit just gets formed. And then also kind of tying into what we said about Gary Vee, where Amazon will always try to push you to make the purchase on a repeat subscription. So you can already set up your life a lot like that if you want. Like if you're going through shampoo every 2 months or whatever, you could set it up to auto buy.
Right. Yeah, I figured what you would say was that I'm surprised that it took so long.
Yeah, truthfully.
And I saw something about this recently around Walmart and like how they actually saved themselves from being bankrupt in the first place by going so deeply and heavily into e-commerce, right?
Well, you said Walmart did?
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to. I don't think they've been as successful as they wish, because they kind of tried to open up like a marketplace where you could sell your own things through Walmart branding. And I think personally it was bad for brand because they didn't handle it well. Because the seller got to pick the price, but people didn't understand that it was a marketplace. They felt like it was coming from Walmart.
Right.
So when you go in there and you see protein drinks that are like $100 because the person's trying to play a supply and demand game because they're hard to get in a lot of places.
Right.
That makes it look bad for Walmart, because the expectation wasn't really communicated very well. Whereas everyone knows that when they're buying shit from Amazon, for the most part, it's not from Amazon. Amazon's a distributor. I
Right.
do think people think they're buying from Walmart a lot of the times, and they're buying from sellers.
That's actually so interesting that Amazon did that so artfully.
Like, the creating the distinction?
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I guess because it was from inception that it was like that? I
That was
don't
the
know.
concept,
Yeah.
yeah. That it's just a different buying behavior. I think that the in real life experience also will taint the ability to understand that, right? Because when I see Walmart
Yeah,
trucks everywhere and then I go to the
that's true.
Walmart store, it's difficult for when I'm on the Walmart website that this
True.
isn't Walmart.
Mm,
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
because I think the physical location changes that a lot mentally for people.
Super true too. Yeah. Um, but outside of that marketplace, I mean, they've definitely moved some significant portion of their sales to their e-commerce platform,
Totally. Yeah.
which has allowed them to just once again not have had this situation happen a
Happened
lot longer.
earlier. Yeah, and they're definitely still doing fantastic. Like, a lot of people, it's just kinda become their default grocery store too. That was a big move that they pulled off pretty well, was that, they really focused more on grocery so that there was one-stop shop for everything over the last few decades, and now it's like people can't even afford to go to a lot of the grocery stores that they used to go to, so they just say, "We'll go to Walmart."
Yep. Um, so this one right here is super interesting. So there's been this huge uh, thing happening in the private credit markets where essentially there's a bunch of in-kind redemptions or whatever that are happening where private credit funds aren't doing a very good job of paying out their investors without raising more money to pay off their investors. It's kind of crazy that they're just able to do that, by the way. Um, but essentially, private credit is side of the private institutional markets where you have private equity, which is technically a larger term that encompasses all of this. But private equity, where you raise money from institutional investors and you take that and you go out and you buy companies, you buy equity in companies. Private credit is where you raise money from institutional investors and you go out and use that money to lend to companies. And so the private credit industry has just been going through a lot of stress lately where people are like, wait a minute, do these guys actually have money? Are they making money? And the thing about private funds, private investment opportunities is that the major problem that you're always going to have with them is what's called liquidity or illiquidity of these funds, right? So you're giving money to a fund and they're saying, okay, we're going to take this money, we're going to go out and use it to invest. And so you can't like just get your money back at any point in time because I need to use that money to go out and make an investment. And only when that investment starts to get a return will I be able to then make distributions to you so that you can start to slowly get your money back. But just pulling your money out isn't really something that's going to work here,
Got it.
right? So private credit is flashing a warning sign that hasn't been seen since the great financial crisis, where a company and a fund called Blue Owl Capital permanently halted investor redemptions at its retail private credit fund, OBDC2, backtracking from an earlier plan to reopen withdrawals. So the fund has been closed to redemption since November 2025 after a failed merger that would have forced investors to take a negative 20% hit if they were to be able to withdraw at that time. Now, Q3 redemptions in 2025 had doubled at that time, or 6% of the net asset value of the fund, which forced the firm to sell $1.4 billion in credit assets across three different funds. And so the $1.4 billion portfolio sold spans Okay. Though it has 128 companies across 27 industries with 13% of the loans concentrated in internet and software businesses, sectors increasingly vulnerable to AI disruption as well. So some of the story is tying back into this AI conversation. And so essentially, this is one of the first times that this has happened where a company or a fund manager is continuously not actually issuing any redemption to their investors. And so this guy says when a fund stops letting investors leave, it's no longer a liquidity issue. It's not just that we need the money to go make the investments. It's actually becoming a solvency question of are we ever going to be able to pay you back? Right. So that's
Yeah,
something worth
I think there's
mentioning.
gonna be more and more of that across a lot of sectors. So yeah, that's definitely fascinating to see. And do you have anything else to add on that?
No, no.
It's crazy. Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing some back and forth, some good discourse on prediction markets in general too, where Roman said, "You're missing that prediction markets increase the knowledge to be taken into consideration when making decisions. They funnel insider knowledge to the public. It's a good thing." I I I think that has truth to it, but I do think that it is more of a societal net con, in my opinion, in terms of because what it leads to. I think that's right. Like, I think that that is a thing. Obviously, it was perfect at predicting the elections, which
Right.
is which was a great marketing tool.
Yeah. I think maybe that like, at the time, that was the only thing that was, like, allowed, from what I understand, like, that was what it was, okay, and I think that that's the only actual use case that does not lead to the deterioration of society. When and by the way, like, we're not arguing against prediction markets, really. We're arguing or for me, I think the problem is the widespread access to them to individual retail people who don't understand how any of these markets work.
Yes. So, because like, is the benefit actually hitting the people that you're saying it's benefiting?
Exactly. Exactly. Like, no, that's an institutional product that you're referring to. Okay. And that's where a lot of that needs to stay. Why are we betting on Jesus coming back, brother? Like, do you really think that that's necessary? Like, I don't think that that's an information asymmetry.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a complex problem, but I also don't think it's that complex. Like gambling is very addictive, and you're opening up so many people to an addictive thing that probably would have never been subjected to it. Your mic is cutting out. Is that mine or Keith's?
Let me know which one it is.
Yeah, prediction markets, they're almost impossible to avoid. I had another news story in here that they just signed a deal with Substack or a
Yeah.
partnership, whatever, so that now writers can include the specific numbers within their articles.
Yeah. It's very interesting. What are
I'm
your
assuming
thoughts
it'll
on it?
be like a widget where you
Yeah,
can
that's what I'm thinking.
embed it into the article so that
Mhm,
it moves in real time.
mhm, mhm.
And again, they're also saying why that's so good for us. I think it can make the content potentially more interesting. I can also see it be really funny if someone makes a prediction and the market goes the complete opposite way. I feel like the comments will be pretty crazy there.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Got a question
Yeah,
for
so
you here, Keith. He
I was
said,
looking at that.
or they said, Keith, I heard a lot of corporate debt this year with needs to be restructured on loans are maturing. Will that be the issue that relates to private credit?
So it's likely a separate issue, right? I mean, you have two different markets. You've got public debt and private debt. So I haven't like heard about the corporate debt needing to be restructured. There's a lot of sovereign debt that's going to be restructured this year. That's the big headline with the US needing to restructure around $10 trillion of its debt. That's the real pressure that's in the debt markets this year. So I wouldn't be able to tell you if that relates to private credit or not.
Got it.
Yeah, cool. I've got a couple other things, nothing too major, but the situation with the United States and Iran continues to go on. Last time we had an announcement that things were moving in a direction. This time we have something kind of similar, but instead, as tensions mount between the two countries, the US president addressed his so called board of peace. I didn't see that they said that. That's pretty wild. And he said, maybe we're going to make a deal with Tehran. You're going to find out over the next probably 10 days. And people said that he's going to make a decision in 10 days of whether or not they're going to strike Iran, which I think is a little bit sensationalist for what we got out of the actual quote. But maybe over the next 10 days, we'll have a better idea of what's going on in Iran. Probably, maybe. This next one is pretty wild, guys, because look, we don't really talk politics, all right? Don't come here just to talk politics. But we have a story right now that's happening in the world that spans across everything, all right? And it's really hard to ignore it. And someone just got arrested. Ben, did you see that
No,
Prince Andrew just got arrested for his connection to the files?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Your camera went, by the way.
Oh, no. Oh, no. So, what are your initial thoughts on that, Ben?
Uh, Andrew Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, arrested for Epstein connection. I always, I've seen Polymarket say stuff that was inaccurate before.
It's a
So
real story, though.
that's real.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. But arrested where?
In the UK, I think, but I think that is a good question. Um, so, arrested in the UK over ties to the files.
Interesting.
Suspected misconduct in public office revealed in the files.
Mm,
So, and I guess he's the former Prince Andrew. I don't really know what that means. Why is he a former prince?
I don't know. I really don't follow the royal family. I think it's kind of wild.
Anyways, um, the crazy thing is that like Donald Trump actually called him out 11 years ago,
Saying
and there's
what?
a clip of it. Should I should I pull it up?
It's your call, buddy. Do your thing.
Anyways, he did. He called him out. He was asked about this in 2015. It looks like, and Trump basically said, "Well, I don't know anything about that guy, but just ask Prince Andrew about it." So, anyways, that's kind of the news that I've got for today.
Sweet.
And I think we've just got a couple other things that I want to go over, some reactions to a couple of things. Um, you brought up, you sent me a video yesterday where this guy was talking about poly markets. And I think our guy in the comments would agree with this concept potentially to some degree. Charles Hoskinson and this guy, Dean X, I think he's one of the founders or at least works with the company Dean X, and they were talking about prediction markets, and we saw a little bit of a rebrand happening in real time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's
So,
just funny. Like, I'll let you guys watch and then I'll have my commentary, but I thought it was hilarious.
do borrowing to do some sort of leverage as well in the future. So yeah, there's a lot of untapped potential with DeFi and prediction markets
We were just
and NFTs. Yeah,
we were just speaking with Charles about kind of the financialization of everything, and I know
yeah.
prediction markets are really having their moment right now. But how are you thinking about the sustainability of that? Are humans going to want to continue to bet on everything
Yeah.
under the sun? Like, how does this evolve?
Yeah. I think, I mean, gambling has been around for a long time, but we don't use that word in prediction markets. We use trading information, right? So it is going to be, I think, very intertwined with a lot of every aspect of trading or some sort of financialization.
so he's called it trading information, not gambling.
Words are spells, man.
And he actually told us that they intentionally make that distinction. So,
Yeah. And you could tell he seems like a real person. He was literally like laughing as he was saying that.
yeah, he knows what he's talking about there. So, um, fascinating. What any further thoughts you want to share?
I think we got to use that more frequently as like an inside joke.
Trading information.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure. There's plenty of opportunities for that one. um, Another thing that I saw was that someone's got a hot take. The Supreme Court of the United States will not release the tariff decision on any of the upcoming known dates, he says, because on the State of the Union on the 24th, they would be sitting right in front of Donald Trump, and they don't want to be screamed at in the chamber. So the thing that's going on right now is whether or not Donald Trump's tariffs and the administration tariffs are constitutional. And the Supreme Court has been delaying making the decision. I saw someone say they're going to make the decision today or tomorrow, whatever, in the comments. They've been delaying this for quite some time. And so the fact that it hasn't happened yet, this guy's like, you know what? They're probably just waiting until after State of the Union, where Trump was addressing the nation and how the last year has gone, because they would literally be sitting right there in front of him and know for a fact that he would literally start saying some crazy stuff to him. So trying to take the political pressure out of the equation to some extent. So I thought that was an interesting idea.
No, completely. That's super interesting.
Let's see. So a couple of memes for the day. This one's pretty good. It's a lot of stuff about AI these days. So this guy is said, for all of you relying on AI for advice, this actually took me a second. I'm not going to lie. I was like, wait a minute, I don't get it. So he said, I need to wash my car and the car wash is 100 meters away. Should I walk or drive? And ChatGPT says, walk. At 100 meters, driving makes almost no sense.
Do you think that's real?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Should I ask ChatGPT right now?
You should.
All right. Chances are, even if it was real, it's been patched. But I want to say it exactly as they said it.
Okay, yeah.
I need to wash my car, and the car wash is 100 meters away. Should I walk or drive? All right, let's see. Walk it, no question. Yeah,
Oh,
that's hilarious.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it
There
says
you
walk it,
go.
no question. You're literally 100 meters away. That's about a 60 to 90-second walk. Driving would probably take longer.
That's crazy, bro.
Wow.
He said, so this one guy said, well, the paid chat GPT told me to drive. And there's actually something to say there,
I'm
right?
on the paid one.
No, well, basically what we can see is that there's an inequality of the responses that are being given to people. All right. And if that's the case, then you got another thing to think about there, right? Like, are we potentially gating access to the real thinking? And also, are we all getting the same results
Hmm.
to the same questions?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
hey.
it said walk. Yeah, so we got multiple confirmation. Walk through the car wash. Yeah, just take your body through it. That's
That's
insane.
wild.
That's also like one of the major problems where because these things move so fast, AI, agentic, like agents, whatever, is if there's a flaw in logic, things just get stacked upon it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So
Major problem.
then that's also a big problem with like software was that if it's built by someone who isn't like really, really skilled, then the whole thing of tech debt that we talked about, where you just got to keep stacking on top of it, because otherwise you have to wipe out the whole thing. Like the world has the potential to get tech debt from some systems like this.
That's a really good point. So the last meme-ish kind of thing that I found was so just in Americans working 2 full-time jobs hits an all-time high. And I have seen the data around that. And Law, Andrew L. says the life of a millennial, recession at the age of graduation, pandemic at the age of independence, AI layoffs at age of career growth, housing crisis at the age of home ownership. And that's pretty real.
I feel for everyone. I don't think there's been anyone who's had an easy time throughout all of this, you know? Because but I definitely sympathize with that. Like that's a lot of L's. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Back to back to back. But I think everyone was screwed by COVID, by these financial changes, by a lot of things. But hopefully we end up in a more positive outcome.
Yeah, man. Those are my memes for the day. Those are my news stories for the day.
Cool, man. Willem said, I told it to keep thinking and it figured it out.
That's pretty wild, man. That's pretty wild.
That's crazy. So that's all the memes we had, right? Using ChatGPT. Yeah. Yes, we did. Okay, cool. So do you want to run through some comments on the previous episode that we had?
Yeah, so previous episode, to be fair, was pretty light on any super, like super thoughtful comments, but we had a lot of love
Mhm.
for our previous guest, Nicole, over at the Profit Door. So huge shout out to Nicole for coming through and doing this. And yeah, people were super nice. She said, be nice to me in the comments, y'all. And thanks for listening. And 47 likes on that. So people were happy to see her around.
Sweet. Yeah, we appreciate all y'all tuning in. We appreciate all the support and definitely go show Nicole some support over on her channel. It's all linked in the description box of that one.
Yep. And then there was one comment about Alan Watson 1452 said, I am afraid that using homes for a profit making business, in my opinion, is the wrong thing to do. And one of the reasons many have been priced out of having their own homes. I would never use homes as a way to make money. I think it's part of their plan to reduce the amount of people that own their own home because they have been priced out because homes have been turned into money making schemes. Well, I hear it. The like pro capitalistic approach to housing is typically around the idea of, I mean, obviously for home builders, right? The idea is that you're building places for people to be able to stay. For the individual to buy a home, I mean, I would rather an individual own my home than a corporation, I think. if I'm renting it out, I want to have someone who I can talk to and not a robot
Mhm.
that owns my home, essentially. But it's an interesting conversation. I think it's also as a way to make money. I think it's probably not the most profitable way to do it, or not just profitable, but my thing has always been when it comes to real estate as like this wealth machine and way to make all this money and be super wealthy is that like, well, buying a single family home is really buying yourself a job of managing that process. And it's not
Totally.
really passive income in that regard.
No. I think most people that give this advice grew up in a very different time
Mhm.
where the numbers made sense.
Mhm. Yeah, it was actually
And
worth it.
yeah, you could snowball everything that you did into more and bigger things. So yeah, I get that completely. But do you have anything else, or do you want to open up to the chat
Let's
to
open it up to the chizzy.
chat? We appreciate all y'all being here. Do y'all have any topics you want to discuss? Questions you want to ask? We will go through and chop it up.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all being here.
Roman said you employ people for that, like in terms of I'm sure they mean like property management.
Exactly. But people don't do that.
Because the
And people
margins
don't
aren't
know
there
that.
to do that though either.
And there's no margins to do it. And people don't tell people that. That's not a part of the story, Roman. Right?
True.
That's not the story. It's go buy a home, go buy a bunch of homes, and then manage them, and then you'll be wealthy when you're old. And it's like, actually,
Mhm.
no, you have a nightmare of what you have to pass on to your children, which is an entire business operation that you have to then pass on. But that is the answer. And that's also why for me it's buy multifamily, right? And have large units where you do have the margins to hire someone.
Totally. Yeah. And also the problem with when it does become too profitable, that greed sets in too, which I'm sure is present in America and Canada here too. So many people, if people own a home here, so many of them own like 4 or 5, like 3, 4 or
Mhm.
5. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
they were able to leverage that to more and more and more. And then now the actual homeowners are so few, but they hold a lot of the market.
Mm.
Do you see anything?
Um, Someone
Ask.
said,
Go ahead.
uh, Luis Celiberti said, that's what I do not understand about the tokenization of real estate. I get commercial real estate, but there has to be some intention in tokenization of single family homes in the future as well. I don't actually understand, but I just did see the tokenization thing and thought it was worth reading.
Mhm.
I get commercial real estate, but there has to be some intention in the tokenization of single family homes. So there are people that have done like rogue projects of tokenization of single family homes. Um, I mean, it definitely makes sense to fractionalize the ownership of an apartment building as an example. It's just a lot easier. You've got liquidity of something that typically is extremely illiquid.
Mhm.
Uh, and 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 now you can participate in the rents, right, of a commercial building, which you otherwise really can't unless you just buy like a large real estate ETF. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the statement was, but
True.
definitely important stuff to talk about.
One casual kid said, as a single man, how much do you need to make nowadays versus having a family to living comfortably? If you're a single guy, you get to purely pick how you live, right? Because people aren't reliant on you. And so I would always advocate living below your means. Like that's what I did. I lived in a $500 a month basement apartment for a decent amount of time while I was growing my business. I think a lot of people get stuck because they're overextended.
I lived in a $750 shack in the back of someone's a shack in the woods,
Let's
basically.
go. Where was this?
This was in Miami.
Nice.
But the brag was that I actually had to pay 750 for that, which was just horrific. But
So this is a good one. Do y'all think one of these AI companies could take over the rest or all of them, kind of have their own section of the market? I do think there'll be a lot of consolidation. I think we're already starting to see that. I
yeah,
think there'll be more acquisitions coming very soon. So most of these players that we're talking about today probably won't even survive in the way that they are now. They'll probably be either absorbed, rebranded, who knows, right? But so yeah, I do think there'll be a lot of that.
yep. I mean, that's what it is. It's like Max 7 or you're out, is the way I see it already.
It's too expensive of a game.
Yeah. I mean, how are you gonna compete with them building out hundreds of billions of dollars of data centers? No one can compete with that.
No, you can't.
And they own the infrastructure, right? So anything that gets built on top, they can just buy out or make on their own.
Mhm.
eventually.
No, totally. Uh, Disc replay boss. Sounds like they've got a fair amount of real estate. It's been really hard for small landlords to get into multifamily for at least 5 years because they are so high priced. You can't make them cash flow without putting down 40 to 50%.
Wow.
Wow, that makes it really hard.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's huge. Yeah, I used to want to touch real estate so much, and then I just saw that the speculation game was getting to a point where I'm like, okay, this is not a game I should spend time on anymore. Like,
Mm,
if you had to talk to me before I started my internship in real estate, I probably would have said like, I want a big real estate portfolio.
mhm.
And then as things went, I was less and less interested in that, like by the year.
Fair. Fair. Yeah, I mean, it's out of hand, and, I mean, after 2020, it was just like, whoa. The only type of real estate that you would ever want to touch, I mean, long term for me personally, would be
Mhm.
residential because otherwise you can get fleeced by, a
Like,
virus.
yeah, very, very true, right? Habits have changed so much, and there's so many things we can't control with that.
Yeah.
Disc Replay Boss on Living Frugally, something that's awesome here. He said, my coworkers used to make fun of me 25 years ago because the wifey used to pack me bologna, cheese, and mayo sandwiches every day. That's awesome. Yeah, I think like if you enjoy that and you can save a lot of money, why the heck not?
100%, man.
Do you see
It's,
anything else?
no.
Speak up, people. If you got anything else you want us to go down or a question you want to ask, happy to chop it up. But we'll wrap it up here shortly. We appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us. I
Yep.
own a few rentals and I wish I didn't.
Yeah, that's fair. It's, I mean, I can only imagine, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah, Disc Replay Boss. The timing is everything as usual. Yeah, that's always the case. And I think you always want to pay attention to who's telling you something's a good idea as well.
Reminds me of a story from Tillman Fertitta, uh, owner of Houston Rockets and a company called Landry's. It's like a large hospitality company. And he has a book called Shut Up and Listen. He talks about in this book how basically, like, he's a multi-billionaire now, but basically, like, the major thing that happened in his life was that he was like underwater in debt, and then a bank went bankrupt. And so he didn't have to pay any of the debt back.
No way.
And that was like the major break that he caught that allowed him to become like a multi-billionaire.
Wow. That's crazy.
So,
Damn.
timing and luck and
Luck plays part of the game. It's all part of it.
yeah.
100%. Willem said, do you think people will come up with alternatives for cash when CBDCs are introduced and adopted? Yeah, I don't know what we would, but that's a very interesting
So
experiment. Like the thought
basically, we go
experiment.
back to coins or like shells. We start
Yeah. That's so funny.
seashells again.
It's so good. One casual kid said, what's y'all businesses besides YouTube? Also, how old are y'all? Because I'm 26, still living with my folks, about to start a sales job, but I really want to have my own business. Super cool, man. I'm 29, and I run a social media agency and then some software companies.
I am 26, almost 27, and I am mostly on YouTube and a little bit of trading activity in the futures market.
Cool. Sweet. That's awesome. Yeah, and if you want to start your own business, I would say just start. Like whatever the first idea is in your head, go prove that it's a dumb idea. Because chances are, like your first one probably won't work. But so many people, it's like, okay, they become obsessed with this idea and they chew on it for so long that even if there was an opportunity, it's now gone. So I think movement is like legit the most important part.
Yeah, dude. And like you're at a place right now where you will get grace from people too.
Yeah.
To like want to support you and stuff. So take advantage of that. Like talk to people and get help and get advice and take it.
And become the person doing that thing, right? Where you actually have it to talk about. Because people do want to help you, especially people who have already been through the battle that you're about to go through, the journey. They do want to help you out. But if you don't have conviction in the thing you're doing, how do you expect the people you come across to?
100%. Yeah, dude, go be delusional for a little bit and like
Just start, man.
figure it out.
And now I think the learning curve can become so much faster, and the feedback curve I think is almost even more important because you can go validate things so fast now.
That's true.
Right? Like you can go set up a landing page in seconds, you can cold call people, you can DM people.
Hmm.
Like there's so much opportunity. Hermosi always talks about how if you're not making as much money as you want, you should spend like 2 hours every day marketing your business. You can either do that from like reaching out to people, posting content. There's a few other methods, but yeah, like a lot of the game is just moving.
That's it.
I think I'm going to build my own learning algorithm for AI. Good luck. That sounds impressive. Uh, why don't super rich people just keep buying almost all of them by now? Wouldn't it make sense? They've that the funds have kind of done this in a large way. No,
100%. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely one of the things that makes it a lot harder to get into the game too. It's just
totally.
like competing with the people who have all that money.
Yeah, absolutely. And Willem's got some good advice here for people that want to start a business. Try to network. If you know people, it makes it so much easier. It makes it easier, but it also makes you that person, right? Like if you have other entrepreneur friends, you're now an entrepreneur,
Hmm.
right? That mental barrier is going to be a very big thing because a lot of these things that we think are difficult are really just overcoming internal belief systems.
Agreed.
Uh, Said, do you think AI is the Antichrist? I don't think I'm at liberty to have any opinion. Like I don't know enough to say anything with conviction, but it's definitely fun to speculate. And if you look at what's his name, Palantir guy,
Peter.
yeah,
Peter Thiel.
yeah, when he had that interview with the New York Times people, where they're like, "Do you think human beings should continue?" He's like, "Well," so I see how people could get there.
Yeah, I don't actually know what that word technically means, so I can't say anything, but
Yeah, sweet, sweet. Well, if do y'all have anything else you want to chop it up on, or should we call it a day here?
yeah, I guess we can call it. We
Cool.
really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, appreciate big time. Spotify, we're still looking for reviews over there. So go click the link down below and go over to Spotify. We're at 58 now, I think.
58 over
Love,
here.
love it. We're starting to
Okay.
get some movement. Let's get that thing to triple digits, people.
5 stars. And, you know, just show us some love. Show a little bit of love.
That's it. That's it. Anything else that you have for the people?
Nothing for the people other than a desire for you to have the best day of your life.
Yes, have a good one, guys. We'll be back on Tuesday. And then we've got guests currently scheduled for Thursday, but these things can obviously change. They're fluid. But yeah, we've got some good stuff coming your way. A ton of awesome guests that we're lining up, things that we are getting planned and episodes to come. So always continue to leave your feedback in the comment section. Let us know what we got wrong, what we missed, what you'd like us to talk about in the future. We're always looking at the comments and we appreciate all of them tremendously.
Huge thanks to you guys. We appreciate you. I see you in the comments. For real.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Well, you all have a great day and we will see all of you guys on Tuesday.
Peace.